Exodus chapters 22 through 24. And if one steal an ox or a sheep, and kill it or sell it, he shall pay 5 calves for a calf, and 4 sheep for a sheep. And if the thief be found in the breach made by himself, and be smitten and die, there shall not be blood shed for him. But if the sun be risen upon him, he is guilty. He shall die instead. And if a thief have nothing, let him be sold in compensation for what he has stolen. And if the thing stolen be left, and be in his hand alive, whether ox or sheep, he shall restore them twofold. And if anyone should feed down a field or vineyard, and should send in his beast to feed down another field, he shall make compensation of his own field according to his produce. And he shall have fed down the whole field, and shall pay compensation the best of his own field, and the best of his vineyard. And if fire have gone forth and caught thorns, and should also be set on fire threshing floors, or ears of corn, or a field, he that kindled the fire shall make compensation. And if anyone give to his neighbor money or goods to keep, and they be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, he shall repay double. But if the thief be not found, the master of the house shall come forward before God, and shall swear that surely he has not wrought wickedly in regard of any part of his neighbor's deposit, according to every injury alleged, both concerning a calf, and an ass, and a sheep, and a garment, and every alleged loss, whatsoever in fact it may be. The judgment of both shall proceed before God, and he that is convicted by God shall repay to his neighbor double. And if anyone give to his neighbor to keep a calf or sheep or any beast, and it be wounded or die, or be taken, and no one know, an oath of God shall be between both, each swearing that he has surely not at all been guilty in the matter of his neighbor's deposit. And so his master shall hold him guiltless, and he shall not make compensation. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make compensation to the owner. And if it be seized of beasts, he shall bring him to witness the prey, and he shall not make compensation. And if anyone borrow aught of his neighbor's, and it be wounded, or it die, or be carried away, and the owner of it be not with it, he shall make compensation. But if the owner be with it, he shall not make compensation. But if it be a hired thing, there shall be a compensation to him instead of his hire. And if anyone deceive a virgin that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her for a wife to himself. And if her father positively refuse, and will not consent to give her to him for a wife, he shall pay compensation to her father, or according to the amount of the dowry of virgins. Ye shall not save the lives of sorcerers. Every one that lies with a beast ye shall surely put to death. He that sacrifices to any gods but to the Lord alone shall be destroyed by death. And ye shall not hurt a stranger, nor afflict him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Ye shall hurt no widow or orphan, and if ye should afflict them by ill treatment, and they should cry aloud to me, I will surely hear their voice. And I will be very angry, and will slay you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children orphans. And if thou shouldest lend money to thy poor brother who is by thee, thou shalt not be hard upon him, thou shalt not exact usury of him. And if thou take thy neighbor's garment for a pledge, thou shalt restore it to him before sunset. For this is his clothing, this is the only covering of his nakedness, wherein shall he sleep. If then he shall cry to me, I will hearken to him, for I am merciful. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor speak ill of the ruler of thy people. Thou shalt not keep back the first fruits of thy threshing floor and press. The firstborn of thy sons thou shalt give to me. So shalt thou do with thy calf, and thy sheep, and thine ass. 7 days shall it be under the mother, and the 8th day thou shalt give it to me. And ye shall be holy men to me, and ye shall not eat flesh taken of beasts. Ye shall cast it to the dog. Thou shalt not receive a vain report. Thou shalt not agree with the unjust man to become an unjust witness. Thou shalt not associate with the multitude for evil. Thou shalt not join thyself with the multitude to turn aside with the majority, so as to shut out judgment. And thou shalt not spare a poor man in judgment. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt turn them back and restore them to him. And if thou see thine enemy's ass fallen under its burden, thou shalt not pass by it, but shalt help to raise it up with him. Thou shalt not wrest the sentence of the poor in his judgment. Thou shalt abstain from every unjust thing. Thou shalt not slay the innocent and just, and thou shalt not justify the wicked for gifts. And thou shalt not receive gifts, for gifts blind the eyes of the seeing, and corrupt just words. And ye shall not afflict a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger. For ye were yourselves strangers in the land of Egypt. 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and gather in the fruits of it. But in the 7th year thou shalt let it rest, and leave it, and the poor of thy nation shall feed, and the wild beasts of the field shall eat that which remains. thus shalt thou do to thy vineyard and to thine olive yard. 6 days shalt thou do thy works, and on the 7th day there shall be rest, that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and that the son of thy maidservant and the stranger may be refreshed. Observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you, and ye shall make no mention of the name of other gods, neither shall they be heard out of your mouth. Keep ye a feast to me 3 times in the year. Take heed to keep the feast of unleavened bread. 7 days ye shall eat unleavened bread, as I charged thee at the season of the month of new corn. For in it thou camest out of Egypt. Thou shalt not appear before me empty. And thou shalt keep the feast of the harvest of first fruits of thy labors. Whatsoever thou shalt have sown in thy field, and the feast of completion at the end of the year, and the gathering in of thy fruits out of thy field. 3 times in the year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God. For when I shall have cast out the nations from before thee, and shall have widened thy borders, thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven. Neither must the fat of my feast abide till the morning. Thou shalt bring the first offerings of the first fruits of thy land into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seethe a lamb in its mother's milk. And behold, I send my angel before thy face, that he may keep thee in the way, that he may bring thee into the land which I have prepared for thee. Take heed to thyself, and hearken to him, and disobey him not, for he will not give way to thee, for my name is on him. If ye will indeed hear my voice, and if thou wilt do all the things I shall charge thee with, and keep my covenant, ye shall be to me a peculiar people above all nations. The whole earth is mine, and ye shall be to me a royal priesthood and a holy nation. These words shall ye speak to the children of Israel. If ye shall indeed hear my voice, and do all the things I shall tell thee, I will be an enemy to thine enemies, and an adversary to thy adversaries. For my angel shall go as thy leader, and shall bring thee to the Amorite, and Chethite, and Pharazite, and Canaanite, and Girgashite, and Evite, and Jebusite, and I will destroy them. Thou shalt not worship their gods, nor serve them. Thou shalt not do according to their works, but shalt utterly destroy them, and break to pieces their pillars. And thou shalt serve the Lord thy God, and I will bless thy bread, and thy wine, and thy water, and I will turn away sickness from you. There shall not be on thy land one that is impotent or barren. I will surely fulfill the number of thy days. And I will send terror before thee, and I will strike with amazement all the nations to which thou shalt come, and I will make all thine enemies to flee. And I will send hornets before thee, and thou shalt cast out the Amorites, and the Evites, and the Canaanites, and the Chethites from thee. I will not cast them out in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. By little and little I will cast them out from before thee, until thou shalt be increased and inherit the earth. And I will set thy borders from the Red Sea to the sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness to the great river Euphrates. And I will give into your hand those that dwell in the land, and will cast them out from thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them and their gods, and they shall not dwell in thy land, lest they cause thee to sin against me. For if thou shouldest serve their gods, these will be an offense to thee. And to Moses he said, Go up to the Lord, thou and Aaron and Nadab and Abiud, and the 70 of the elders of Israel, and they shall worship the Lord from a distance. And Moses alone shall draw nigh to God, and they shall not draw nigh, and the people shall not come up with them. And Moses went in and related to the people all the words of God and the ordinances. And all the people answered with one voice, saying, All the words which the Lord has spoken we will do, and be obedient. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord. And Moses rose up early in the morning, and built an altar under the mountain, and set up 12 stones for the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent forth the young men of the children of Israel. And they offered whole burnt offerings, and they sacrificed young calves as a peace offering to God. And Moses took half the blood and poured it into bowls, and the half the blood he poured out on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant, and read it in the ears of all the people. And they said, All things whatsoever the Lord has spoken we will do, and hearken therein. And Moses took this blood and sprinkled it upon the people, and said, Behold, the blood of the covenant, which the Lord has made with you concerning all these words. And Moses went up, and Aaron and Nadab and Abiud, and the 70 elders of Israel. And they saw the place where the God of Israel stood, and under his feet was, as it were, a work of sapphire slabs, and as it were, the appearance of the firmament of heaven in its purity. And of the chosen ones of Israel there was not even one missing, and they appeared in the place of God, and did eat and drink. And the Lord said to Moses, Come up to me in the mountain, and be there, and I will give thee the tables of stone, the law and the commandments, which I have written to give them laws. And Moses rose up, and Joshua his attendant, and they went up into the mount of God. And to the elders they said, Rest there till we return to you, and behold, Aaron and Hur will be with you. If any man have a cause to be tried, let them go to them. And Moses and Joshua went up to the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain, and the glory of God came down upon the Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the Lord called Moses on the seventh day out of the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the glory of the Lord was as a burning fire on the top of the mountain before the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and went up into the mountain, and was there in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Psalm 27, 28 in Hebrew. A psalm of David. To thee, O Lord, have I cried. My God, be not silent toward me, lest thou be silent toward me, and so I should be likened to them that go down to the pit. Hearken to the voice of my supplication, when I pray to thee, when I lift up my hands toward thy holy temple. Draw not away my soul with sinners, and destroy me not with the workers of iniquity, who speak peace with their neighbors, but evils are in their hearts. Give them according to their works, and according to the wickedness of their devices. Give them according to the works of their hands. Render their recompense unto them. Because they have not attended to the works of the Lord, even to the works of his hands, thou shalt pull them down, and shalt not build them up. Blessed be the Lord, for he has hearkened to the voice of my petition. The Lord is my helper and my defender. My heart has hoped in him, and I am helped. My flesh has revived, and willingly will I give praise to him. The Lord is the strength of his people, and the saving defender of his anointed. Save thy people, and bless thine inheritance, and take care of them, and lift them up forever. Proverbs chapter 5, verses 15 through 19. Drink waters out of thine own vessels, and out of thine own springing wells. Let not the waters of thy fountain be split by thee, but let thy waters go into thy streets. Let them be only thine own, and let no stranger partake with thee. Let thy fountain of water be truly thine own, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Let thine loving heart and thy graceful colt company with thee, and let her be considered thine own, and be with thee at all times. For ravished with her love thou shalt be greatly increased. The Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 17. And after 6 days Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into an high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was as white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias talking with them. Then answered Peter, and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias. And while he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And behold, a voice came out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face, and were sore afraid. And Jesus came and touched them, and said, Arise, and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man, save Jesus only. And as they came down from the mountains, Jesus charged them, saying, Tell the vision to no man, until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. His disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribes that Elias must come first? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. But I say unto you, that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise, also the Son of Man shall suffer of them. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him, saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic, and sore vexed, for oft times he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water. And I brought him to the disciples, and they could not cure him. And Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Jesus apart, and said, Why could not we cast him out? And Jesus said unto them, Because of your unbelief. For verily, I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting. And while they abode in Galilee, Jesus said unto them, The Son of Man shall be betrayed into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and the 3rd day he shall be raised again. And they were exceeding sorry. And when they were come unto Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter, and said, Doth not your master pay tribute? He saith, Yes. And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children, or of strangers? Peter saith unto him, Of strangers. Jesus saith unto him, Then the children are free. Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea, and cast a hook, and take up the fish that first cometh up. And when thou hast opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. Take that, and give unto them for me and thee.